Hey everybody, today, Third Eye Chakra Activation Tips.
In this episode, the Third Eye Experience. I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
From ZenRoseGarden.com.
Yes. Helping people create
badass lives.
Okay, today we're going to talk about the big Third Eye Experience.
So I want to tell you a personal experience of mine from a big third eye opening that I had. This one was very significant. I was going through a healing process with a healer friend of mine in Los Angeles, and we released all kinds of stuff, and I was heading home to get on an airplane the next day to go travel across the country. So we had released all sorts of heavy stuff, and I was healing from very deep wounds. So when I came home that night, everything was suddenly very, very open.
Wide
open. And I could hear stuff happening in the neighborhood, and I could see bubbles in the air, and I felt intense energy around me, and I'm like, I can't get on a plane like this. How can I handle an airport? So
I can't even handle the neighborhood. How can I handle an airport?
I'm like, I can't leave my room. So I'm packing my suitcase, and everything feels so intense, and the fabric feels intense. All of my senses are heightened and expanded all of a sudden because I had this huge release of sludge. It's like when you clean the windshield, all of a sudden it's super clear, and you're like, it's so bright. So I called my friend and said, I
gotta go to the airport.
What do we do? What are we gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
So we did some work, and I relaxed, allowed the energy, and it acclimated, and I felt a whole lot better. The next day I went to the airport. It had balanced itself out because she helped me release the fear about my third eye being too open and all this stuff happening, and she kind of helped me acclimate to the energy on the phone. Went to the airport, and it was like, ooh, I can feel this, and I can feel this, and I can see that aura even brighter. And I went and I stood in the shower when I got to the hotel, and I looked at all the water coming down, and I was in the shower for like a half an hour looking at all the like little light bubbles. And it was amazing. I had acclimated to the energy.
It wasn't the intensity of the energy, it was the attachment based in fear that made it bigger than it really was.
So once I got on the phone with my friend and we worked through the fears that I was having, that it was just, I had the impression that my third eye was too open. But what I came to realize was that what was happening was
the mind was in freak out mode looking for any threat.
Right, because I was so hyper aware. I'd been in a state of trauma, which is sort of like a semi-state of hypnosis when you're in long-term trauma and healing. So you're hyper aware of dangers. So when your third eye opens really fast like that, when you do a big healing or clearing, you're like, you're having a hard time focusing on just the energy in front of you and what you're feeling because your senses are looking for a danger.
And what's happening here within the mind is that the mind is already looking for a threat beforehand because you were in a state of trauma, so the mind was on threat assessment mode. Right. The trauma gets cleared. You clear the trauma, you clear the sludge, you clear the issue, but the mind hasn't caught up that there is no danger. So the mind is now becoming hyper vigilant, looking for that threat even more deeply because before it had something to focus on. Now it doesn't, so it's really freaking out. Once you calm and acclimate and adjust, and that part inside of your mind has relaxed, then you can experience the information coming in more easily. Right,
so when you have a big third eye experience like that, and it just blows open, and it really, in my opinion, it's not like it just blew open all of a sudden, it's just like you clean the windshield. So it's sort of like, oh, it was clear all the time, but it's just this overstimulation that you get all at once. Your mind needs a moment to acclimate, and if you can like breathe through the fears and realize there's no danger, you can acclimate to the energy that's coming in much faster. Then that becomes your baseline.
And this is what we call focusing the lens.
Right. So if your lens opens up really fast like that because you have a major experience, allow yourself a little bit of space to acclimate and realize that you're still releasing some fears around that release, whatever it was that got you to that big third eye experience.
So that was a major third eye event. Let's talk a little bit about normal third eye event
Right.
that happens much more frequently and much more often.
Well, like the everyday stuff.
Yes. So we had our kids, we were working and we were getting ready to be done with work, and they were downstairs thinking about, and they were running through this exercise where they were sending us thoughts of what they wanted for dinner. Sending us thoughts. They were sending us sushi, they were sending us, all of these thoughts. And we had this thought erupt in our mind, why don't we get the kids sushi?
Let's go take everybody to sushi.
Yeah.
Let's go to all-you-can-eat sushi. So
And they were like, yeah, it worked.
we walked into the room downstairs and we're like, hey, we just have a thought. Let's go take you to sushi. And they go, and we're like, what? They were like, we've been doing this the past hour, like sending out this signal. That's
a more normal experience.
That's a more small, fun, everyday third eye experience.
But it's the same faculty that's getting used. So the trick and the technique with this is to relax, to allow, and to acclimate.
We want to give a big shout out to our valued subscriber,
Brandy Jackson.
Thank you so much for commenting and participating and joining us here on our YouTube channel. For more badass life tips, be sure to subscribe.
And click that bell to turn notifications on.
And we'll see you in the next video.